Let's paint this board, bub. This is the Marvel Crisis Protocol board build part 3. In this final part of the series, I'm going to paint up the board. I'm going to be using an airbrush for most of this painting. I want to color the whole board like the classic comics that used halftones in their coloring, so I picked up these really cool halftone stencils. I want to add a concrete texture to the panels. I achieve this by ripping a piece of cardstock and then using it as a quick template and airbrush some light gray here and there. Then I use those halftone templates to add that wonderful comic book texture to all the panels. Next thing I did was mix up a gray craft paint to dry brush all over the roads. I did a couple of gray tones to add some variety. The next thing was to go in with a black ink and do all of the cracks and sidewalk lines. Rather than using a wash, these inked lines will really make the board feel like comic book art. When painting this, I really had to fight trying to make it look real and really wanted to make it look like, again, a comic book or an animation. So I went in and did bold, light gray, and white highlights on all the edging. I thought it would be cool to add that halftone texture to the roads themselves, so I quickly masked off the area and then airbrushed on a slightly bigger pattern. The next thing is to paint the road lines. I had learned by watching other guys' videos that tried to do this that the only way to get really clean lines is to mask them off and airbrush them. You can pick up these different size masking tapes in the drafting section at any Hobby Lobby. I airbrushed several thin layers of white. This is going to be the primer for the colored lines that go on top. I dried that off with a hairdryer and then began to airbrush thin layers of golden yellow for the road line color. Once that dried, I simply peeled up the masking tape to reveal the nice clean lines that were painted. I then went in with a brush and blobbed on some grays in a stylized way to add some weathering to the lines. For the manhole covers and sewer grates, I wanted to keep those cartoonish as well, so I washed on a rusty brown color. After that dried, I weathered them down with a rusty brown wash as well. To paint the crosswalk lines, I masking taped everything off, just like I did the road lines. This Lazy Susan will allow me to spin the piece that I'm painting. And for the crosswalk, I am just airbrushing light coats of white paint. The reason why I'm weathering down in this comic book style is if I use something like a sponge, it would be too fine of a texture and lose that cartoonish feel to it. And then using that black ink, I go back in and accentuate some of the street cracks. The final touch to painting this board is to use black craft paint to finish off all of the sides so that they look nice on the table. Here are the completed panels for the Crisis Protocol modular board. What I love about this is that you can configure these panels into a few different configurations. Later on down the line, you could always swap out panels for different builds, like a construction zone or a parking lot. We've already been gaming on this board and are having a blast. Oh no, it's Baron Zemo! Hey, it's Spider-Man! Baron Zemo, give me a break.
How about Ultron?
And the Red Skull. I think I hear Aunt May calling. So hope you guys enjoyed watching that series. If you're a fan of Marvel and gaming, then Crisis Protocol is for you. I've already been buying way too many miniatures. If you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, it'd help my channel to grow. Be sure to like and share. And until next time, keep crafting, keep gaming.